What's up everyone, Evgeny Genchev here, and this is Sweet Struggle. Today I'll be reacting to your videos from the Sweet Struggle 14-day challenge. There have been plenty of submissions and I'm super happy that so many of you showed commitment and came out with awesome results. To those who don't know or don't remember the rules of the challenge, here's a little rewind. In the next 14 days you should pick a piece of music and learn it. First of all, pick up a piece, a part of a piece, song, poem, book, painting, whatever it is, whatever your passion is. Second, record day one with a photo or video. Third and most important, practice. The fourth is that at the end of the period, you have to record your progress. And then the final fifth step is post your video or photo with the hashtag Sweet Struggle 14 days. Not the only people record their results, but if you actually follow me on Instagram, you may have seen that many of them participated in a live stream with me and performed what they learned. It was really inspiring for everyone to see their dedication and love for music. And because they did so well, I thought that the best way to support their effort would be to make this video. Hopefully I'll be able to give you some constructive feedback and guidance which would allow you to continue your rapid progress post Sweet Struggle challenge. But anyway, now let's see a few of the videos from people who participated in the challenge. Alright, first one we've got v.diavade.v. Let's hear it. Nice touch. Alright, a bit quicker break of the chord than the usual, that's nice. Not too sentimental, which is great. Such an amazing work for a 14-day challenge, isn't it? It's great that he pushed a little bit the tempo because it was getting a little bit back, but now he's pushing it forward. Yeah, the momentum is regained. That's good. Maybe didn't have to start with that much of an accent at that passage. just a short break. It's amazing so far, but let's say that maybe you wouldn't have had to slow down for that quick cadenza-ish passage if you didn't speed up. So allow yourself that room so that you actually have space to move about. If anything, this is the bigger part, so bigger range. Show that range and give yourself that space. As a technicality, then the passage after that is gonna come easier. And on the previous passage, what I meant is that try not to start that quick passage with an accent, but rather just have it something smooth, more of a whisper, more of a wind blowing, rather than, okay, now we're starting the passage. Okay, you played it, it's great, but maybe try to have it in a bit more subtle way, a bit more poetic. This way the audience won't come out of it, so it will just give you more consistency on that expressive and noble tone that you started already with. But so far, great job. Let's see how it goes on. Now, just as a small reference here, like I know that this is an upright piano. It sounds a little bit bright, but that's okay. In spite of the limitations of the upright piano, you're still withdrawing from it what you need, which is amazing. But try to go even a step further. So when you have that loud dynamic, because the piano is a little bit bright and you need this really large sound, but at the same time it shouldn't sound aggressive. And it can when the piano is that bright. And try to have maybe a little bit of a slower attack. Settle into that big chord with a bit more body weight and a bit more relaxed, so that you can get a little bit mellower sound, so that it's not too explosive. We shouldn't go too much over the top here. And then you can create that really beautiful difference in the dynamics that you're already doing. It would be great if you can keep that smooth, but obviously with some more practice in just that short time, it's amazing. But try to keep it in time so that you don't need to break it because of the left hand. So try to spread the left hand in a way in which it doesn't interfere with what is happening, because you want to keep that nice passage there that you started really, really well. Try to keep it without interfering with it. Now let's see. So nice. And it's great that he doesn't get phased out because of the few wrong notes here and there. Okay, this is a great thing for everybody to see, that you don't get phased out by a wrong note here and there. You still stay in it, you don't get upset, but you just keep that energy and you just continue with that same expressivity that you already have. That's really like performance style, which is amazing. I wouldn't pick up probably these chords so suddenly because it kind of takes you out of it. maybe like make it in a little bit more subtle way, although I know what's coming after that, but experiment with it and see what also looks better as something that you want to present for the audience, because not only the sound but also the way you pull out. If it's too sudden, it's like it maybe doesn't fit for the piece and that particular moment. Another thing that would be really cool to dig into would be the voicing of the chords, because you always can hear the top voice, but maybe you want to hear some of the middle voices, some of the bass line, that how it changes, and that would give it a bit more of a rich sonority. And obviously in this 14-day period you're not expected to do like a concert level performance, and in spite you're doing an amazing job. We've already established that like from the first couple of lines. But for you to dig in even further and explore what sounds and what kind of additional stuff you can add to it, I think that would be also useful to think about. Now let's move on. Try not to wait for the bass, but rather go on. Nice. Hold. You should have held for a bit longer. Never mind. This is great. Really, really well done. And what I meant regarding the waiting, now it is a very common problem for everyone that when you get to the top of the phrase, you're like, and you wait for it, and you wait before it, and then you wait after it. Try to get to it a bit faster so that there is not too much of a gap. Now it was almost as if there is a rest, and because you did this 3 times, it kind of became predictable. So try to change it around and see where is the real aim, so that you have a bit more of a bigger picture. Also, it would be beneficial if you do some separate hand practice, so that also if there is any technical issue that you need to wait and you need to make sure where is your hand, this is also cleared so that it's just a musical concern rather than a technical issue that you haven't considered. I really enjoyed the voicing of the last chord, so I'm sure that you're gonna do very well with the voicing of the rest. Is just, we all need a little bit more time for things to settle in the system so that we can really feel comfortable to explore further. As a general tip for the next step with this piece, I would say that perhaps try to go away from the score and just sing it to yourself and be like, okay, what is the phrasing that I want to do? Where would I be aiming at? What is the agogic that I'm going to use? Now that there is no time pressure to have a ready product, so to speak, after 14 days, just give yourself that time to actually really decide what is going to be the interpretation and what are going to be your artistic choices, and try to have this bigger phrase, bigger blocks that you think of, and try to have one point or a couple of points that you're aiming towards, and everything falls towards that purpose. Otherwise, this was a really fantastic job. Thank you so much for participating, and yeah, well done. Now, before we continue, I've noticed that more than 80% of people watching the channel aren't subscribed, which is crazy. So if you're enjoying the content, consider subscribing so that you would get notified every time I upload a new video. Now let's see the next participant. This is Pianist _ Tammy Lee. Young but with so much feeling. Just let me stop it here and say that Beethoven himself said that the best tempo that one can choose is the tempo that needs to be changed the least number of times. It still has to be changed, however. So I've often had discussions with people who want to keep the same tempo and be very methodical about it, but sometimes the music requires, to widen it here and there, and also to intensify it and make it a little bit more forward looking in different places. Now I like how she sped it up in this part, but I still think that perhaps the beginning was a little bit too slow and a bit too impressionistic. And even when it's piano, it is important to still have a singing sound. Okay, now let's go on with the piece. Nice phrasing. I like this because this is very characteristic and very nice character there. Where's the pedal? Than what it was in the beginning, which was much more atmospheric. Maybe if you start in a tempo that is similar to this one, if you think in advance, like, okay, what is going to be the tempo in the middle so that I can start in close to that tempo, it will definitely make it sound more organic. But I'm sure that this is going to be something that your teachers is also going to point out. But as this is such a fresh piece and you're already intuitively even doing so many good things, I'm sure the final result is going to be amazing. Another thing as a next level of development in general as well would be to watch the pedaling. As you know, in my videos I've often spoken about the attitude towards pedaling, and many people do too much. So try to not get into the habit of putting the pedal down and forgetting about it. I know it's difficult and it takes some time to adjust, but if you can practice without the pedal rather than with the pedal, then do that, so that you make sure that your fingers and your hands are doing what they're supposed to, and then you can add the pedal as the necessary effect here and there. After you make sure that everything is in place and you're not taking any shortcuts, then you add the pedal wherever necessary to give it some more resonance, to give it some more color. I'm certain that the final result is gonna be absolutely amazing. And Tammy actually participated in one of the live streams that I did on Instagram. She played another piece there, which she also participated in the challenge with, which is a Chopin waltz, which is incredible because like at that age I wasn't even playing the piano, and she's already learning in such a short period these two works by serious composers. This is really amazing. You can really see in her playing that things fall in naturally, and she's very intuitive, really talented. So I'm looking forward to hearing much more from you. Now, for those of you who haven't seen, I've recently launched a Patreon page. On there I share behind the scenes content, I give early access to videos as well as live stream Q&As and much more. On there you can also find the full videos to my practice session series, where I go through different pieces, break them down, and answer your questions about the process. Go and check it out. Now, back to the video. The next one is Dany Bär. Now that's a challenge. Rachmaninoff in 2 weeks. Amazing. This one I was so messed up with these harmonies. It takes a while for them to settle in your system. Nice line. Keeping the pulse, which is great. Lots of people actually get distracted and they like get all over the place, too much in their feelings. That's me included. complex as a progression is completely normal, like especially when it's so fresh. A bit late. You need to not get into the habit of delaying this too much. Nice. This is a piece, I don't know if I would be able to actually do a better job in that period, because generally I would have taken probably like maybe 1 week just to write the fingering and all the stuff that I would be doing and just pre-planning what should happen. But I love this piece, so it's such a challenging thing to actually practice it, because you normally get carried away wanting to play it rather than practicing it methodically bit by bit, and this is one of the challenging parts. On top of that, you have to consider all the harmonic progressions, and it's challenging and it's complex and it's technically difficult. So this is an amazing job in these 2 weeks that you have done. Obviously nobody expects from this challenge to have a concert performance and go perform at the Carnegie Hall, and this is already a solid foundation on which you can then go on and move on to play beautifully this piece. As I said in the middle section, I really like that you keep a steady pulse without going too much back and forward, which probably I would be guilty of. That is really helpful in the long run, so well done for the discipline. As a next step in your interpretation, I would say that it's useful to map out in your mind what do you really want to achieve in every particular phrase, and then work towards that so that you know where you want to go forward and what do you want to aim towards, so that you create the right habits also physically. As a practice method with the harmony, it is useful to break it down and really practice it bar by bar. Add it 1 + 1 + 1 until you're comfortable. Define all the individual harmonies and get comfortable with going from one to the next one so that your ear gets adjusted. At the moment, this is a very familiar feeling where I was too busy with doing the jump and where am I supposed to go, and then you don't even have enough mental capacity to think, okay, what was the harmony? But if the harmony is very clear in your mind and you get used to what the chord progression is, then that's going to speed up the process of you playing it more fluent and also memorizing it. Another point that we should obviously all remind ourselves is don't rush prematurely with the tempo. Now, it is great that you have already reached this tempo, but wherever you need to drop it when you practice, then drop it. That will allow you to actually relax your hands a little bit more and not create habit of getting stiff on particular places. I noticed that when you play the octaves of particular chords, your wrists are a little bit up. Like, because of the video was just of the arms, I couldn't see more, but I would imagine that maybe there is also some tension in the shoulders. When you eventually start speeding up the tempo, if this is already habitual, then it becomes a problem because you become more and more tense. So try to establish the habit of being very relaxed in whatever you're playing, and keep an eye on the wrist, on the forearm, on the fingers, that on the shoulders as well, that you're completely relaxed and comfortable with what you're playing. And then bit by bit speed up the tempo. really observing what is happening, and if it's still not quite comfortable, then drop it. But it is essential to build on correct habits of you being loose in your arms rather than just tensing up further and further, because that can lead to injury, obviously, and that obviously would be unfortunate and would hinder you from practicing. So it's better to keep things safe. Alright guys, we'll stop here for today, because otherwise this video is gonna become 5 hours. But if you would like to see more videos like this one of the participants and me breaking down their performances, then let me know down in the comments. I hope you found this useful and it has given you some helpful insight and tips which you can incorporate into your future practice. Thanks again to everyone who participated for showing their Swiss struggle mindset of love, dedication and commitment to their passion in spite of any challenges and difficulties. I am really proud of you. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and click that bell icon so that you never miss an upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.